Before we start, right, hot seat if you're ready. So I literally walked into the office and I picked up these cards. Somebody sent them to us, and I had one that I wanted to share with you guys because it's the one that fell, and they fell all over the floor. So I'm currently surrounded by all of these mantras and questions, and it's going to be a fun day. So the one that came up today says, "Don't be fooled, stay the course. The course never leads away from here," bringing us right back into the now. Denise, that touched you. Tell me more. Oh, I have goosebumps. I felt it. I think you don't have volume. Hold on.
No, I'm just
There you are. Oh,
wondering what to say. I'm just in
perfect.
the feels right now, Jess.
Ah,
I'm holding a lot.
what came up when you heard this? Don't be fooled. Stay the course. The course never leads away from here.
It's just confirmation of what I know that everything's okay. It's all working out, and even when stuff looks like it's not, that it's all okay. Um, yeah.
Good,
Uh, mm.
good, good, good. Do you want to kick off with hot seat?
Yeah, I don't really know what my question is. I suppose logically, my brain goes to, yeah, there's a lot going on between, the dispute, which is looking like it's going into legal. Now, I've never been in a legal dispute before. Um, and I'm actually surprised how much energy it sucks. So there's that. And I've had confirmation that one of my one-to-one clients who's made massive um shifts is going to complete next month. And so there's a little grief there
Hmm.
because I'm
Yeah,
like, I want to keep going, but
yeah,
um, and they're going to stay in the membership, but they're going to complete the one-to-one.
yeah,
Um, and there's all sorts of magic and miracles of possibilities of the potential for somebody coming in, and nothing's confirmed.
yeah.
Um, and I'm in the midst of this kind of, dating as well. It just feels like Um, and I'm in the midst of creating this workshop in collaboration with somebody, which I think is going to be really powerful all around money,
Yeah,
the relationship with money. She's the expert on that side in terms of the in terms of the systems and the actions. I'm doing the internals. So yeah, I guess I'm
there's
perplexed by the
hmm.
amount of strain I'm under right now.
Okay, cool. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to touch on in what you shared that are going to be really powerful. And one of the things that I want to bring forward is endings. You know, you said you've got a client, you really love working with this client, it's coming to an end. So I want to come back to endings. However, first of all, I want to say I'm sorry that you're going through what you're going through. And I know that it's not easy. And we got you and you got this. And I'm sorry that it's happening to you. It's not fun. It's not nice. Like you get to feel all of the feelings around it. So I want you to feel that.
Mhm.
The other thing I want to talk to is I actually want to acknowledge Denise right now because over the last month, 2 months, maybe even longer, Denise has been in communication with an extraordinary woman who may or may not become her client, and it doesn't matter. And she's serving this woman and her family so powerfully. And as part of the miracle that Denise wanted to create for this family, she connected the woman's son to Devin and I, and they're coming to America next month, October, and we're really excited to meet them. So, you know, Devin had a call with Etienne, as you know, the son, he's 16, right? 16, 17. Um, had a call with them. And then yesterday in the Game Changer community, we had a guest speaker who's a coach for Orlando Magic, one of the NBA teams. And we invited Etienne to the call. Now, this young man was so locked in, put himself forward, asked a question, a super well thought through question that was not only powerful for him, it was powerful for the group. He was locked in. Now, we have a young person of the same age at home who is not displaying the same character right now. And it really, this young person, because of the miracle that you're creating for his mum and in turn him, his whole future has been transformed. I already know. Whether he, fulfills the path that he thinks he's on right now or not, his whole future has been transformed because you were a stand for the family, Denise. And why I bring that forward to all of you is not just because it's a nice or powerful story. You're hearing that Denise is going through so many things. She's in this incredible juxtaposition that life sometimes throws at us, yet she's rising throughout it all. And when life feels hard, because life is going to life, you get to bring forth the evidence of who you are, what you're creating. And if it still feels really, really hard, even with the evidence, there's two tools that I really invite you guys to tap into. The first one is laugh, sing, and dance. This is your LSD moment. Laugh, sing, dance, right? It shifts everything. And it's temporary. So you want to do it over and over and over again. Laugh, sing, and dance. The second thing to really shift is to get into service and help someone who's struggling more than you. So, something in that for everyone. Now, I want to speak to endings. Because when you've got your own business, right, it's really easy to make everything personal. You love your clients hard, you let them into your world, you look after them like your family, like you become the greatest version of you so that you can support them to become the greatest version of yourself. So it's a huge investment that we put into our people. And I know you all do because you come from love and service. It's a huge investment. And so it's very easy to make endings mean something. And most of us have been conditioned to think that endings are hard or sad or difficult or all of the things. And they can be, and they don't have to be. When we get to realize that endings literally lead to new beginnings for the client, for us, for whoever's involved in the situation, your thoughts can shift. It doesn't have to be grief, it doesn't have to be loss. And a question that's so valuable in creating endings so that you get to shift your conditioned attachment or thinking around endings is, how can I be someone who makes endings just as powerful as beginnings? Because think about it, when you sign a new client or you meet someone new or you have your first day of your holiday or whatever it is, your vacation if we're in America, there's this feeling of like excitement, fresh, new. Oh my God, we're going on this journey together for 12 months. It's going to be the time of our life. Like, I can't wait. You're going to create. You feel it, the client feels it, right? It's normal. Go on holiday. Oh my God, new place. Holiday feeling. I smell the heat when I get off the plane. Oh my God, the food, the restaurants, all of it. It's normal that we feel this way about newness. Can also feel a little bit scary, but it's like excitement, anticipation, what's going to happen. It's unknown, right? But when it comes to endings, we don't relate that, oh my God, I have to go home. Oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen next. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So you get to ask yourself, how can I make endings just as powerful as beginnings? So that you leave knowing that you played your best game, so that they leave feeling empowered if that's what they've chosen to do. So they leave knowing that you're always going to be there to support them. And when they're ready, they can dive back in. So that they feel excited and empowered and in control and in charge of the choices that they've made. And when you're really in your power and you meet them in your power and you ask yourself the question, how can I make my endings world class for my clients? The whole game is going to change. How can you be just as excited about endings because you've created something world class that actually endings get to be the fun part just as much as beginnings. Would you hear in this, Denise?
That's a brilliant question. I don't think I've ever considered that. And yeah, I usually do feel the ending when, when I would come back from holiday or yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Um, eh, and and I don't want to make my grief wrong, or I don't want to not let my grief be there because I know, that depth of conversation is just different when you're not in the one-to-one space. There's just something about the one-to-one space that's magical. So there is going to be a shift and a change in terms of that. So yeah, I love the question. I will sit with that question.
yeah, yeah.
And um yeah.
And in this, grief is not grief, loss, any of the feelings. They're not good or bad or right or wrong. They're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
feels.
yeah.
Facts aren't feelings ain't a fact. It's just a fact that we feel, and we get to honor the feelings and move through them and still create the most extraordinary endings. And people are just not used to that, right? We're not used to that. And this is like an identity upgrade that is going to be so powerful for all of you. So play in the possibility, play in the possibility. If I were going to create world-class endings, what would that look like? What would that feel like? What would that be for me? What would that be for the other people involved? And something's going to come that's going to be powerful for you.
Okay. I have no idea
It's
right
fine.
now.
It's so good. So good.
Yeah.
Anything else, Denise, that you'd like to work through today?
It just a reflection. I know last year was a lot for me. It was huge. But actually right now it feels a whole lot bigger than that. And
Yeah,
and I guess I don't really understand why.
yeah,
I'm also got the diagnosis thing going on. And I don't know. It just
yeah.
feels like a whole lot more.
I asked this a similar question to Steve Chandler when Manel died, and you might have heard me speak to this before. And I said to Steve, and I was a little embarrassed about it, to be honest. And I said, it's interesting because when I lost my mum, I didn't feel this level of grief or sadness or debilitation or all of the things. Like it was different, and this one feels a lot harder to deal with, and it wouldn't make sense to me. That's my mum, that's my best friend, but it was my mum. And what he really highlighted to me, he says, since your mum died, which was 17 years ago now, the person you've become over those 17 years, you've learned how to be love, give love, receive love differently. Your capacity is so different, so much bigger. You play a bigger game, you're a greater version of yourself. And when your capacity is bigger, you feel things even bigger, more deeply, because you've got the capacity to do so. And that's why when we grow, we go through lifing, it can feel harder and heavier because we have more capacity to feel. It's safer to feel. You've been open in your heart for the good, for the extraordinary, to give, to pour into other people. But you've also opened it to feel more deeply on the other end of the spectrum too.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So we're sending in Morocco, they do this thing where they send love like this. And we met our Moroccan clients. They flew in to meet us on the weekend while we were doing Game Changer. And when we leave to each other, we're like this, love, love, love. So I'm sending you all love, love. Who's next? Ali, Roz. It's a nice energy in this room. It's always a nice energy, but it's calm, it's peaceful, it's loving. I love it. Let's hear your updates and then we'll see where we go. Ali, on you go. You both unmuted at the same time. Ali, on you go.
It's always that fun through the Zoom trying to time it. I don't know that I have anything particular to bring up this month or this time, but updates. just getting back into, I'm fully into the swing of things again and planning retreats for this winter. And Denise, what you brought up, or I guess what came of this, of the endings and beginnings, is something I've actually been pondering all morning as I'm planning retreats for this winter. And one of them is focused all around stillness. And I've been reflecting of like, what does winter bring up? And it's such a time for like both rest and renewal. And I've been trying to wrap my head around like how both of those exist at the same time, and like how like what to guide people through with, you know, experiencing that deep rest and stillness, and also like how we can look forward without like coming out of that state of stillness and being really in the present moment. So I appreciate your share, Denise, and sending you so much love. And I got a lot from that conversation. So thank you.
I love it. And I love, you know, I love the conversation around our natural state of being is actually neutral. And then we have different seasons, you know, and we get to choose when those seasons start and end. But our natural state of being, when we're really in flow, is when we're in neutral. It's not when we're in euphoria. It's not when we're in challenge. And we can want to create in those moments as a safety mechanism. But actually, when we bring ourselves back to neutral, we take feelings out of it. We return to facts. We calibrate. We neutralize. That's when we're in our power.
I like that. I think that's a good tidbit for me to weave into this. Yeah, I think that's really where I want to guide people into, is it's not up here, not down here, but just being somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Good. Good. Roz, what have you got? What are your updates? You've had a lot of, this has been the year of family. I love it.
It has, yes. We had my niece and her hubby and their two little ones for the day on Sunday, which was really lovely. And able to have conversations that you don't normally have when there's lots of people around. So that was really special. Where am I? Gosh, I put in the chat that I am in the middle of putting together all the stuff. Well, it's Karina and I are going to be delivering a new program. And it's all about the essential oil. So it's not about the other stuff that I do as well. This is focused on essential oil. So that's a bit of a focus at the moment. And we'll deliver our first one in October. And then have it as a standalone that people can work through on their own, which will be great. I think for me, I've been just being at the moment with and observing, because I think watching the reaction of so many people with what happened with that young man in Utah when he was so publicly, to say, taken out, and also witnessing people that I have felt close to justifying that has really shook me to the core. So I've just been sitting with that and working through that. And I know that this is going to powerfully impact how I serve and help people with their thinking, which, be it flawed or not, yeah, there's just so much that I've been processing and going through and coming to terms with all of that. So I haven't felt inclined at this stage to be on social media and to be heard too much. Yeah. And I know I will be, and it's coming very soon. It's just processing and going through all of that and being in the place where I can do it without being, while being neutral. I love that you said there, without being up there or down there, but coming into being in neutral and being able to get my message across that I feel is so important. That's been lost.
Yeah. What's been the most, you know, I heard you say like it's really shook you to the core, some people's thoughts and feelings. Like, tell us more about that.
Just seeing people celebrating the loss of a young man's life, and then somebody who I was wanting to get on my podcast and have really good conversations with, who I have respected, and I still respect her values, and I know that I can learn a lot from her. But to have people likening that young man to Hitler and saying it was justified, and no sympathy for the wife or the children, was just, I really had to take a lot of steps back.
Is this the Charlie Kirk? Is that his name?
Charlie
Charlie
Kirk,
Kirk.
yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk, yeah.
I don't watch news, I don't watch news. Like, I
No,
don't
it's
know
yeah.
anything, but I knew what you were talking about when you said that.
Yeah.
How the question here is, and I love that you caught it from the conversation with Ali, is like, how do you come back to neutral when you feel a type of way or you see certain things, because that's going to be so big for your message and for the people that you talk to, because the conditioning that you speak to in this world and that you've noticed shaped you and so many other women. The challenge they struggle with is coming back to neutral, right? So how do you embody that for yourself?
So for me, it's recognizing that, yeah, I've been doing some learning with the NLP, doing a lot of NLP work. So it's recognizing the rep where we have all that processing that we've learned from our identity, and it's reconfirmed back to us between the ages of 10 to 14. So we have this massive database in our brains, and the stimulus comes in, and that data, we can only take in so many things at a time, but it's for me, it's learning to recognize how people are operating, where they're coming from, what has triggered that, for example, in that moment in time. So it's, for me, it's recognizing why has that been triggering, and going back to the programming, saying, how can I release that? Why has that come up? So there's a lot going on and percolating and coming together for me at the moment. Yes, yeah.
Good. And I love that, because, everyone's going to have their opinion in this world, right? And nobody's opinion is really good, bad, right, or wrong. It's not up to us to judge others. And if we really come from a place of love and service, we don't have to judge or make people wrong. We get to, respect that everybody has an opinion, they're entitled to it, and I don't have to agree. And when you really come from this place of like, everybody is pure unfiltered love, and the reason they're showing up the way they're showing up is because they've been conditioned to have certain thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, all of the things, right? And what would be really powerful is when you think about, okay, how do I relate to these things? How do I drop back into my body, into neutral, while still honoring my feelings? And that way, you could still interview someone with a really different perspective. And you can come with questions like, when you see something that triggers you in the world, they don't have to be on the same page as you. You're both triggered in different directions, right? So the questions can then become, and the curiosity can become, okay, when you're triggered, like, what's your go-to response? How do you come back to neutral? Like those kinds of things, because your work is not to make people right or wrong, right? It's like everyone has an opinion. I've got my own. Your work is to support people to see that they experience something, they default to a certain type of behavior, they either escalate or, they do whatever they do. And here's how to come back so that internally, whatever you're dealing with, you feel calibrated, regulated, and you make great choices. Their choices don't have to be in alignment with your beliefs, but they're, going to come from this place that serves everybody.
Absolutely, yes. Because I don't agree with her on a lot of things, but this is the first time I've sort of felt, gosh, for her to have verbalized it in a group. That I guess it surprised me, and it took me a while to. And my response, I know she didn't respond to mine or one other's when we both said that no, thinking that the taking of a life is not good.
Yeah.
And and there was a call we were on, and I know that normally she would acknowledge everybody on the call, and she wasn't able to.
Yeah.
And with all the training and what she does with female relationships and all that sort of thing, I've sort of taken a step back and thought, well, like, you'll come to terms in time.
Yeah.
But she hasn't yet. Yeah.
And so it's so good
Mm.
because what you're really learning about yourself is I get to love people all the way through this. I get to be curious, but from an understanding that I've got that people respond to the world because of conditioning, all of, whatever they've been
Yeah.
taught. And when you come from that place and we step out of judgment because you're really coming from neutral and from love, and then you start to ask curious questions from that angle, you're going to be such a powerful ripple to people who have the same beliefs as you and to people who don't. And that's, something to sit with and consider within all of this.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank you.
Beautiful. Interesting.
It is
Anyone,
indeed.
it is, yeah, it is. Anyone got anything else that you want to explore, talk about, celebrate, anything while we're here? Denise.
There's two things. One was the kind of the thing around the relationship piece, but I don't know if that just takes us off this topic. One of the things, so the other topic is around the greatest kind of activism that we can bring. And one of the things that I have been contemplating and find myself articulating in conversation with clients and within my spaces is that I do think that our own inner alignment is the greatest form of activism. One of my young clients who was bemoaning the fact that she can't really go to rallies and things because she can't do crowds. It just is too much for her. But she's an artist. And so she has a lot to say and she can communicate through her art. And, I said, well, that can be your activism and how you show up. And I'm just wondering, how can we even up level that even more powerfully, even more? Because the more we ripple out, but from a place of first of all, foremost, our nervous system being really regulated, but really peaceful and really aligned, from a place of deeply knowing who we are and what we stand for and where we're going. Sorry for the construction noise. Okay.
Can't hear it. We actually can't hear it.
Okay. Yeah, my question is, how do we up level that?
Yeah, and what I know to be true is that judgment comes from us not being in alignment. Like we only judge when we're in low grade emotions. When we're in alignment and we come from love, we can have a really strong, powerful message, but it's not making somebody else wrong. So there's no judgment. It's I get to have an opinion and I can do it from a place of love. And the only time we can do that is when we are really in alignment with ourselves. And that's where it's never really about like being the greatest version of yourself is never learning more about external things. It's about learning more about us. It's about willing to strip back all the things that we thought that we knew. It's about being in the don't know what you don't know zone. It's about being willing to catch the awareness of, oh my goodness, I'm in judgment about all of these things. Let me explore that and let me see how that's serving me. And let me realize that I don't have to play in this space because being in judgment leaves me overwhelmed, exhausted, judgment, comparison, all of the things leave me exhausted, overwhelmed, like distracted from who I am and the impact that I'm here to make in the world. And when I come from love and have a powerful message, the message is received differently. And it is received in a way that reverberates, is long lasting because your values don't shift. My value is love and I have a powerful message. And I communicate from that place only always. And because people feel that energetically, the message stays for longer, reverberates and ripples more powerfully. When we are in our emotions, judgment, triggered, whatever, activated, like whatever you want to call it, we make moves that can be powerful in the short term or noticeable in the short term. We can cause a short-term ripple. But guess what? Is it long lasting? Does it sit with people? No, because feelings of that heightened frequency are so temporary. Does that answer your question? What do you hear in that, Denise?
Yeah, I don't know that I had a question. It was more, just up leveling to make even more powerful. I realized over the weekend there was an up level. There's always an up leveling.
Yeah.
There's always an up leveling. And yeah. Our ability, not only our ability to be more powerful, but our ability to maintain that neutrality starts from within.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it has to be, it's constant conscious creation. And this is why when you're in the work, like there's always work, right? Like what the card said this morning, because you're willing to look at, oh, I've been in judgment, I've been in low grade emotions. Like, is there something for me to learn about myself here? And that's the work we want to do with our clients, to always come back to neutral, and especially for women, for all human beings, and especially for women, the divine feminine, honoring your feelings is a non-negotiable. You can feel all of the feelings. Like today, if I really tap in, how am I feeling? I'm in awe of my life and the things that I'm holding that I never imagined in a billion years I'd have to hold. I'm in like astoundment of my life, because I honestly didn't think that after the year that we've had, there could be anything more challenging occur, and there's things more challenging occurring, right? And that's not leaking into who I'm being, right? This is like a powerful call. We're loving, we're supporting each other. It's so you can feel a way, and it doesn't have to impact how you move, what you step into. And that's the beauty of, you get to honor your feelings, and you get to show up in the world in alignment with who you want to be. So good. So good. Anyone else for anything else? Roz?
So I hope this comes into the whole feeling of this call. One thing I was pondering the other evening was going back to Game Changers with Devon, and I was looking for how to articulate it because I do want to start getting back onto social media. And I could get a knock on the door. I know what to do, but I could get those men in uniform knocking on the door as a result of it. But one of the things that has always stuck with me in both of the Game Changers I was at was when Devon says, making what somebody says mean something is an act of war.
Yeah.
How do you, or would you suggest getting that across? Just say, these are this is what I'm feeling, and I feel it very strongly. And it could trigger people. How would you bring that forward?
I mean, I need a tangible example to give you a tangible answer.
Yeah.
Right?
So, for example, if I was to go on to say, because one of the things that I see so much of at the moment is people just on the warpath about seeing misogyny and patriarchy and taking such a firm stand for feminism. For me, that breaks down the family unit, the strength of the divine feminine. And I know that there's a very good chance if I come forward and say, I don't agree with it, and this is why, I know that I'm going to trigger people. And they're
And
going to take it to mean that I'm buying into the patriarchy and female woman shouldn't have any say in anything.
well, the question is like, do you want to trigger people? Because you might, and that would be
Well, I
okay.
know I will. Yeah, I know I will. And the problem is then it is on them, and I know it's going to trigger them, but it's meant to do so in a good way. And yet, because of what's happening here in the UK, it could end up with people on my doorstep that I don't want there.
And that's where you want to get really clear on what's the purpose of my message, right? Is it just to trigger people, or is it to trigger as a catalyst for change? And then do I also provide the healing element that I want to bring in? And so you wouldn't then, if that were the case, then you wouldn't just do a piece of content that triggers people. You would tell a story and you would take them on the journey in every piece of content, right? But the identity that you really would want to tap into, if you want to be someone who activates people in that way, because it's not good or bad or right or wrong, you have a choice. If you want to activate people in that way, you have to take on the identity of what other people think of me is none of my business. I'm a woman who stands unshakable in my values. I am certain that the purpose of my message is a particular result, and I finally review every piece of content that I put out to make sure it's not about me, it's actually in service to the mission that I say that I'm on. So I would have a process with your content that is like a filtering process, because if you're aware I get triggered and I want to talk to these issues that so many other people get triggered to too, it could be very easy, if you don't have a filter, to put something out there that's like responsive or reactive. So I would create a really strong filter and a really strong identity that everything funnels through, to keep yourself certain that you're moving in alignment with your purpose and you're serving the world in the way that you want to, which is healing. So I'd create a really strong filter, and I wouldn't ever post without running through the filter of, this is my structure, my intention, my purpose. Does it match this criteria? And who am I being in this moment? Am I being the leader who heals, who doesn't care what other people think, who is unshakable, and so on and so forth, who's not in judgment, and so on and so forth?
Perfect. Yeah. That's
Helpful,
something
Roz?
really very helpful. Thank you. Yes. Great.
Yeah, good. Ali, anything else?
I don't have anything else for today. I'm glad I got to see you guys though.
Denise, did you want to ask the dating question? Could be a nice light place to end this call. It's like a big conversation. I love it. We go where we go.
Well, we were in conversation last call about up leveling how I show up and who shows up for me. And I had a real aha moment over the weekend that the reason I really want to up level the person who is my partner, who I have yet to meet, is because of my mission in this world. And it's not just about, yes, it is about finding somebody who's strong enough that I can lean on, who can be my port in the storm, because I am doing big things in the world. So I need somebody who can hold that. And I need somebody who's done the work and who is aligned in themselves and clear. And because if they're not, then it's not a partnership. It's not a match. But it's bigger than that. It's bigger than just somebody who sweeps me off at my feet and takes me on the world's most incredible date. It's actually about someone who's willing to get in, or not willing, someone who wants to be in service too.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, I don't know why I've never thought of that before.
It's beautiful. And you want to add it. You know, one of the things Denise and I talked about is, you know, just like with your business, just, you know, in all areas of your life, you want to be so clear on who's my person, and you want to communicate that to the universe, to the dating sites, like, you know, and it helps you sift through the ones who are not for you much faster. Because if they just realize who you are and it's too much or not aligned with what they want, then they're going to skip past you, and thank God, because you're not wasting time and energy with someone who's not aligned.
Cool.
And you know, I'm thinking it's interesting. Devin and I had a conversation this morning because there's a few people in our world, clients, who are looking to create extraordinary relationships. And obviously we do Iloego, so lots of couples come into our world and they're looking for extraordinary relationships. And the common thread is it's really hard to find, right? Now, of course, it's hard to find because you're so extraordinary. You're like in that top 10% of people in the world doing extraordinary things. So the pool is way smaller for you than it is for, you know, Jenny who lives next door who just wants a little one night stand and some fun, right? So it's like, yeah, it's a different journey. It's a different journey, and the pool is definitely smaller. And like what we know for sure, Denise, you can speak to this, is you're meeting some really extraordinary people along the way. Maybe not your people, and extraordinary people, some of who you've really been able to help with your gifts, and that's a blessing. And you know, just like the card, stay the course. It's bloody, right? Stay the course. Stay the course. And your person is going to show up as you continue to move.
Well, I have a date tonight.
Ah!
And
Wait,
then
what you?
and then a different one with a different person on Thursday, just coffee on Thursday. But yeah.
So much fun. Be you. Amplify you. Be the most extraordinary, loving version of you you've ever been, and be in your feminine, and you know, all of the things. Curious, you know what you're doing at this stage, and surrender. Surrender is the biggest piece here. For all of the things that you've all brought to the call today. Surrender, surrender. Don't be fooled. Stay the course. The course never leads away from here. You got it. So with that, Queens, go and have fun. Go and have fun on this human experience. Do the right thing. We always say to our kids, have a great night. Do the right thing. I love you. I'll see you wherever I see you next. And go get it. The world is yours. Bye, ladies. Bye, 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 bye.